What's going on, everyone? So, the Cleveland Cavaliers have officially made the move to fire their head coach, JB Bickerstaff. Also, worth noting is Monty Williams, based on reports, may end up being out the door. There was a report that came out that the Detroit Pistons may be willing to eat his $60 million that he's owed for the rest of his duration in order to move off of him as a head coach. So, what this does, well, at least bare minimum in regards to the Cavs, could potentially even further, if Detroit ends up moving off of their head coach, is it gives the Lakers competition in their coaching search, in their coaching hunt. A lot of these head coaches, or well, assistant coaches, really, is kind of what it is right now, right? But a lot of these coaches that are being interviewed by the Lakers are going to more than likely be interviewed by the Cleveland Cavaliers. This also kind of throws other names into the ring, right? JB Bickerstaff is one. I've already seen people throw out the idea about what about him if Monty Williams becomes available. People are throwing out the possibility of what about him. Personally, to kind of touch on those two, just in a bit of a glance, Bickerstaff, again, I'm not super sold on, right? I thought he was nice for Cleveland. I thought, he had a bit of success there, but I didn't see anything where I was like, that's a championship level head coach. That's the guy. Now, he does have more experience as a head coach than pretty much everyone else that's available at the moment. So if you're looking for just sole experience, then he's probably a guy that you would want to thrust into that. Same thing with Monty Williams. Now, I think Monty Williams is a better coach, but there are a lot of things about Monty Williams that I'm not a huge fan of, right? I don't think Phoenix should have got rid of him, if I'm being honest. Like, the whole reason they wanted to get rid of him was for Ayton, and then they turned around and traded him. So that was just odd for me, but nonetheless, right? Like, with Monty, he's really big on like kind of like hockey changes, right? Like where you just basically, you have your 5 starters, they all come out, you put 5 bench guys in. He can be a little stubborn at times, not great with adjustments at times. Like there's a lot of questions about like, again, can you win a championship with him? I understand, like, he went to a finals with Phoenix. I don't think he's a bad option, right? Like if the Lakers hired him, you can make an argument he's probably the best candidate if he were to become available. But I think there's a lot of question marks of him, and it just kind of got highlighted even further in Detroit, right? It was something that was kind of brushed under when he was with the Phoenix Suns because, Phoenix was so good, right? And they were a legit contending team. Well, now he goes to a team that's, a bottom feeding team, and it's again, his lack of just certain adjustments that you want to see from a head coach are just even on a brighter spotlight because it's like, okay, like, there's not even like crazy expectations. Don't be the worst team in the league, and he's the worst team in the league. But there was no like changes, there was no adjustments, there was no nothing. It was just like, this team sucks, so I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. It was really weird in regard to that. So I don't really think that those two, personally, I wouldn't want to hire. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so let me know. Maybe you feel different, so let me know down in the comments. But kind of sticking with the coaching search, right? Because the Lakers are in the midst of doing these interviews. Woj even reported that basically everything's going to hinge on the report. Like, there is no clear front runner, which, we keep hearing from like everybody else that there is a clear front runner and that it's JJ Redick. There was even a report that came out that they believe he's the next, he's like the next great coach, that they believe he's the next Pat Riley. And it's like, what? Now, look, I have talked and I'm high on JJ. I just think like, go ahead, bring him in. I think the Lakers have already made their choice, personally. I think the Lakers have already made their decision on who they want to hire and how they want to go about it. Personally, could be wrong, but I just think that everything else is kind of a formality. We just keep hearing JJ, he's the guy, JJ. And then every once in a while I get this report that's like, JJ's, not the entire front runner. Somebody else could emerge. I think it's JJ's job to lose. And on top of it being JJ's job to lose, I think that it's like, unless somebody blows them out of the water, right? Like, let's say Monty does become available, right? And maybe Monty goes and does an interview. Maybe he's just so good in that interview, has just such a great vision that maybe he's able to kind of swoop in and steal the job. It's always a possibility. I think realistically, I just don't think that that's going to happen, which I think we're going to see even further highlighted as we kind of move through this process, right? So we've gotten reports that the Lakers are going to take their time. They're not in a rush to go and hire a new head coach, which to me kind of signals that they're waiting for JJ, right? Because look, obviously you want to get a head coach ASAP. You want to get a head coach before the draft. You want to get a head coach, before you start signing free agents and doing all this, because whatever roster you're going to put together, you want your head coach in on it. You want your head coach to be able to go, no, I'd prefer this guy over that guy, right? Oh, you could get either of these guys. If we can, I'd prefer him, right? You want to kind of go through the process with your head coach. But JJ cannot sign on as a head coach until after his ESPN obligations. So you got to get through the playoffs, right? Which would put us I think it's 5 days or something like that before the draft, which would be kind of a time crunch. But if they already have the spit in a handshake type deal and they're already yeah, we're going to bring you on and kind of running things by them. Also, I don't think the draft is going to be that big of a deal for the Lakers because I don't think the Lakers are going to keep their draft pick, at least the 17th pick. Now, the 55th pick, I could see happening. Maybe they go and snag another pick or something, but more likely than not, the 17th pick, that's going out the window. That's going out the door. In any trade that they make with that pick, right, the hope and the idea is that they land a star, right? So if they land that star, they're going to get that star whether JJ likes it or not, right? So it's not like if a big trade does happen at the trade deadline, it's going to be something that JJ, if he were to be the head coach, is going to influence. It's not something that, JJ's I don't really want Trae Young. They're going to get him anyway, right? Again, just using Trae as an example. But the other thing, too, that we'll see is because again, Cavs just fired their coach. You already lost Budenholzer, right? I don't think the Lakers were really interested in him, but still, you lost him. If Detroit ends up being an organization that fires their coach, there's another potential candidate you could lose. Right? You would think it would give the Lakers a bit of an incentive to hey, we should probably get a move on. We should probably get this done. We should probably expedite this process a little bit to get the guy that we want ASAP. Unless that guy, maybe it is Monty Williams, right? Maybe Monty is the guy that they really like. But unless it's that, you would think that, okay, if it's one of the candidates that are available at the moment, you'd want to kind of come in, swoop in, get that person ASAP. Unless you already made your decision, right? Unless you already know you're hiring JJ Redick and you already know JJ Redick is going to take the job and you don't really have to worry about it at that point. Right? You're still doing your due diligence, right? You're still, because what if JJ changes his mind? Or what if, something happens where you can't, again, what if you just get completely blown away by somebody, right? You still have to go through the process. You still have to do your job in trying to see, who makes sense, who's available, right? With who's what available, right? But if you already have it pretty much hey, unless somebody just knocks it out of the park, we're going with JJ, then you don't really need to do it. You don't really have to worry. You're not really concerned with does one of these guys end up getting taken off the market by the Cavs? Oh no, what do we do? If Kenny Atkinson or Norrie or somebody like that or Edelman, if one of these guys end up getting taken by even Detroit, if Detroit comes on the market, right? If you're the Lakers and you already know you're signing JJ, you don't care. It's not going to impact you either way because you already have your guy lined up and ready to go. Now, there also was a report that LeBron and Anthony Davis would have to sign off on whoever the head coach is, particularly Anthony Davis, right? Because they do want to get a guy for Anthony Davis. That was something that was reported a while ago. And I understand, LeBron has said, he's out of the conversation. He doesn't want to be in deal with it. I don't fully buy that. There's no way you're hiring a head coach and not at least running it by LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron is the be-all, end-all. I'm not saying that they're not going to make their decision regardless if they believe that they found their guy. But to tell me that LeBron has zero say, zero anything, they're not even letting him know, he's just going to show up to training camp to a new head coach, that I don't really buy, right? But again, I really and again, I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. At this point, I would be a little surprised if JJ doesn't end up being the Lakers head coach. I just think that there's been so much smoke, and where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and there has been enough smoke to go, there's about to be a huge blaze. Right? And I just think all signs, everything are pointing to JJ Redick is going to be the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I just think that you're going to get a real telling, right, in the next few days. Because, again, Cavs are going to start expediting their process because they're going to want to get their coach ASAP. So you're going to have another team that's in the process of basically competing with the Lakers. And if the Lakers are all kind of nonchalant about it, and you kind of hear the reports of like, they're still taking their time, they're not in a rush, if they lose somebody, they lose somebody. Again, that's another telltale sign that they're probably signing JJ Redick. Just my opinion. As always, pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's JJ Redick? Do you think it's somebody else? Would you like Bickerstaff? Would you like Williams, Monty Williams, if he ends up becoming available? Do you not want either of them? Do you want somebody else? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.